So let's just all focus on our legs and anchoring down into the ground on our root and sitting on the chair, on whatever surface you're currently sitting on, and just feeling yourself anchoring in, feeling that sturdiness of being held, of being grounded, of being present, and being connected to your physical body. So what we're going to be focusing on today would be this feeling of grounding, this feeling of anchoring and taking responsibility for both our physical vessel, our emotional state, our energetic integrity, and our thoughts, our subconscious beliefs, and anything that is arising in our external environment to reflect our internal process. So today we're going to really assume this role of radical responsibility, of being present with everything that arises, both within us and outside of us, and taking responsibility for it, while also honoring responsibility of everyone else involved. So not taking on responsibility of anyone else, but taking full responsibility of ourselves, our environment, our reality, and everything that is happening within us. So I'm just going to say a prayer to activate the space, and you're welcome to light a candle. So hi Destiny, welcome. So if you have a candle nearby, I invite you to light it. If not, I'm going to use my candle as our collective cauldron of transmutation. So I'll just I'll just wait for a moment for Tiffany to grab hers. So we're using the flame as the purifying force, as transmutation, and as the Shakti energy. So the energy that is here to activate, to transmute, to purify, and to ignite. So so at the beginning, I always welcome anyone that wants to bring that energy into their physical space to light the candle. And if not, then just the collective candle is being lit here. So we're good.
Okay, I'm grabbing my candle, but continue.
Okay, awesome, perfect. Okay, beloved I am. Okay, we'll just take a moment to wait. I want to make sure that everyone grabs theirs. Yeah, it's that much more powerful when you could have it near you, because then it transmutes and purifies whatever comes into your space. So just as a tool for any of this type of work that you do, any work that you work where you're working with energy, where you're transmuting limiting belief patterns, where you are anchoring yourself and activating your inner Shakti, having an external flame to support your inner process it helps to facilitate the process. So I definitely recommend it. Okay, candle lit. Okay, awesome. Leilani, I'm glad you're with us. Okay, we're all good. Okay, sweet. Perfect. So this is in the spirit of radical responsibility, is really everyone anchoring in and lighting their flame. So I love that we're doing that. So it's a little teaching moment right there. Okay, so I'm gonna post this prayer in our group as well, and this is the prayer that you're welcome to say upon waking, anytime during the day, anytime you feel other people's energies in your field. If you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling like you're working through a lot and you need some help, and I've read it the first time, this is the Violet Flame mantra. So it works with Saint Germain, and it purifies. So it activates this flame on all levels within our psyche and within our energy field. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes when you're ready. Beloved I am, presence bright, round me seal your tube of light, from ascended master's flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name, till I am one with the violet flame. Aho. Beautiful, thank you. And I also like to snap. It clears the energy, or whistle, some kind of emotion of moving the energy through your body and out. So it almost like pulls things out as you go. Okay, beautiful. So I'm also going to pull one card for us to get started as well to see what is the collective message. And I'd love to unmute you at one point as well. So just want to let you know that I want to bring your voices into the space and your presence as well. But yeah, right now we're setting the containers. So this process is super important. Okay, releasing alliances. And so this is the card of clearing and letting go of anything that no longer serves. This is the card of purification. And the woman that's pictured here, she has bees on her. So there's bee medicine is present, and there's so much symbolism behind that. And I would love to go into it later if you feel called. In this moment, what wants to be shared is right now we're releasing anything that is not our energy, anything that is not our responsibility. So oh, beautiful. So Leilani says that she has a bee on her notebook. Beautiful. So this is the queen bee. So this is the queen bee energy. This is really reclaiming our sovereignty, reclaiming how we show up in the world and how we act from that space of being fully sovereign and fully present, fully responsible for ourselves, but also not taking responsibility for others and not taking on the weight and the energetics of other people. So this is having impeccable discernment of who we have in our beehive as well. Who are the people, who are those alliances that are supportive for us, that are truly seeing us, that are truly supporting our highest good, and who are those that are lacking discernment or in some way impacting us to the point where we feel like we are not able to fully be who we are. We're not able to thrive as we want to. So the one of the key aspects of taking radical responsibility is we take radical responsibility for ourselves, but we also hold space for others to do so for themselves as well. And so it's really knowing what is ours and what does not belong to us. So, and not to create separation, but to create that that inner discernment of being able to feel into, okay, whatever is happening for me right now, is this my own? Do I go into this? Do I claim responsibility, or do I allow this other person to take on what's theirs and take a step back and honor them in their sovereignty, honor them in their radical responsibility? And at some point, if I feel like it's not working for me, then releasing those alliances. So the fact that we're starting with this energy and with this card is really interesting because already the energy of today's session is really reminding us of the importance of boundaries. And so when taking radical responsibility for ourselves, it's a master energy, because this really allows you to step into the seat of your own power, to step into your own authority, your inner authority, at the same time to honor others in their authority, to honor others in their process, and to not people please and not take on the responsibilities that are not ours out of martyrdom and out of this people pleasing desire to help that actually is not serving anyone. So it's interesting that this is coming up because I wasn't originally going to start with this, and I was going to mention it at some point if it came up, but it's coming up very strongly right now. So I would love for all of us to for you to take a moment each to unmute yourselves one at a time and to share with what is alive for you in this moment with everything that has been spoken and shared. What are you resonating with? What wants to be expressed about this? So whoever wants to go first, you're more than welcome to, and I'm going to mute myself.
This is Mandy. Thank you, Anya, for the beautiful opening. So, yeah, I just released a relationship where I was the rescuer role and the mother role and financially managing everything, and huge learning curve. I'm not rescuing anyone anymore. Unless it's an animal, I will rescue an animal. my heart is grieving and hurting, and I'm not ready to release the attachment yet to this person, although the card says releasing alliances, so I'm not really sure if that's saying let go. But I came home here to SF yesterday from Hawaii, and there's a photo of me and him kissing on my vision board in my kitchen, and I'm not taking it down. So I'm not ready to release him yet, although he's moved out of the place. I'm still holding him in my sacral chakra for sure, and probably in my solar plexus. I'm corded. That's an issue with me. I'm open to guidance around this, but I tend to get attached to people, and it's specifically romantic. Like it's hard for me to let go of a boyfriend. And what else? There was one more thing. Oh, and then I have this other relationship in my life, which I'll just call him a sugar daddy because I like the term. It's funny. It's funny to me to call him a sugar daddy. And he's definitely way too far into my field. Like he's way over my boundaries. He's very, very much kind of love addicted to me. And I don't really know what to do with that, because there's benefits to it financially, and then I'm like, dude, back up. So that's where I'm at with this, and I'm happy to be on the call today. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Are you open to anything that's coming through?
Yes.
The guidance. Okay, beautiful. So once you each share, when you're, just let me know if you're open to a channeling, because this the purpose here is for us to open up to, okay, what is here, what is present, and what wants to alchemize in our process. Because I really want to, Mandy, as you share, thank you so much for sharing and for being vulnerable. And I want to let you know that you are exactly where you need to be in your process, and I want to honor that. And so in no way am I wanting to share something to move you out of your process. All I want to do is just offer a reflection. If it's something that feels resonant for you, I welcome you to sit with it. And so that's going to be the extent of my sharing of the channeling that's coming through. And so what's coming up is that right now you are in this process of expansion, where you are ready to step into your soul's, like fully honor and activate your soul's path and your power. And there is an element where these men, both of these men, they represent a spectrum for you. So each of them represent an archetype of the energy that you've been working with throughout your life. And so there is this attachment to both of them, because they represent a level of comfort and a level of support, even if they're not supportive directly, because it's comfortable, because there's something in there where it's like, it's almost like you can count on a man to be that kind of a way with you. And so that is that level of support and comfort, even though it's uncomfortable. And so that is, so holding that energy, what's coming through is that right now, allowing yourself to be with it. You don't need to completely let it go. You don't need to sever all ties right then and there. Take it one step at a time. You've made really big strides, and really honoring the progress that you've made, and allowing your heart to grieve and to have your own journey with it, because you're not just grieving you're not just grieving the individuals, you're grieving a certain way of relating, and you're grieving a certain way of feeling anchored to the masculine. And so that you are then opening up to a new way of relating to the masculine, which could feel scary, which could feel like, how do I do this? What does this look like? And it's the great unknown that we've been working with. And so allowing yourself to just be present with yourself, and knowing that what I'm going through right now is a really big process, and I'm going to love myself and take it one step at a time, and not feel like I have to push myself to completely let go, but also be aware that it's foreshadowing a deeper process with you relating with the masculine in a new way, from the space of empowerment that you're really claiming.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, just really felt called to share that. Thank you so much for receiving.
Thank you.
Okay, so who would like to share next? What is alive for you, and what do you feel inspired to share from everything that's been coming up so far?
I can share a little bit about my current relationship with this man that I'm currently living with. And we're not sure exactly why our souls united in this space, and in the really in the pivotal moment of my expansion creation moment, like of my phase of my chapter. And he's so eager to help me in this transition, and he has in so many different ways. And there's an aspect of my boundary, and that's my sexuality with men, that had been crossed with him in just having so many layers to our relationship, including the fact that I live with him, that in the past I crossed that sexual boundary with him and it didn't feel great. Particularly the last time it had happened was in Valentine's Day. And since being away for the last 2 months while I was in Asia, we had a significant amount of time to like work on ourselves. And coming back, I feel so reinvigorated in my sexuality with the masculine, and have just I found a new masculine lover that I'm fully turned on with and by. And I think right now what's coming up for me in Radical Responsibility is like really setting that firm boundary with this man that I'm living with currently. And we've been communicating around it, like the sexuality is there. And if we were to approach it again, it would have to be in a place of like feeling really, really slow, really conscious, really deliberate, like in a tantric container, versus spontaneous where it could approach that edge for me. And the more that I feel into it, the more I'm like, no, I actually don't want it on the table. And there's this edge, because we're like, we have so much love for each other, and we sleep in the same bed. We cuddle every night. We're both like cuddle, very playful, very affectionate. And I'm just like feeling into the tension that might create for him specifically. So I'm feeling into that at the moment, of like having like radical responsibility for self. And also like, if the relationship is going to change, then how can I communicate that while not going back into my people pleasing default, you know? Because I'm like also in this place where he's offered so generously to provide a home and stability and structure for myself. And yeah, that's coming up, like that I could leave at any moment just to like sever that sort of tie, that sort of implied control that is generous, but it feels like there's an implied expectation. And I don't know if I'm creating that story or, you know, but it's there. And so it's something I'm settling into, being mindful of. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are you open to any feedback that's coming through and any channeling?
Sure. Please.
Okay. Happen. Okay, so what's coming through is in the spirit of radical responsibility. But I don't know why it's echoing. Do you mind if you? Okay, let's see that. Okay, I think that helps. Somehow when we both speak, it makes it makes a noise. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so in the spirit of radical responsibility, what's coming through is that your guides are asking you to ask yourself the deeper questions. So you're looking at him for his responses, for his reactions. What does he want? What is okay? What is the implied maybe expectation there, or what does it mean in you staying with him? And so so much of it is outward focused. And with the moment that, like, what's coming through is the moment that you ask yourself and you get really connected to what is my truth? How do I want to show up with him? That is what creates an opening for you two to connect authentically and connect on a deeper level. And there's something about where that the mind drops out. But when you're looking at him, it puts a lot of pressure on yourself to show up in a certain way. And that's when your radical responsibility actually, what I feel is like it creates armor. And so, yeah, so it's like allowing yourself to be soft and open, and also knowing that you're protected and knowing that you get to decide how you want to engage, and that it's safe for you to really to connect with yourself and ask yourself the deep questions, and inquire with like, how do I want to be in connection with him? What do I want? How do I want to approach this? And how do I communicate that to him? And already communicate it knowing that it's going to be honored, with the feeling of like trusting that it's going to be honored. There's something about that of, instead of looking out in, or yeah, inside out, going in first, like inquiring that within yourself and getting clear within yourself. That's going to really, it's going to influence how you show up with him, is, yeah, what's coming through. Let me know how is that landing with you?
No, definitely. I think in a lot of my relationships, I'm always wondering what my impact is for the other person versus just like owning myself and like being as big as I am and having my lifestyle accommodate that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny and ironic is he's been wanting that for me. He's been wanting me to really, like, I feel like he's in my life to train me to step up into my sovereignty, into my desire. And that's how we met, you know, just him acknowledging that. So yeah, it feels good. And I feel more and more landed with it. I think my own thing is like, yeah, just honoring it every day versus like saying it, but like really believing it and following through with it.
Embodying it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it feels like a really big piece. Beautiful. So, how, Destiny, would you like to share? And Leilani, do you want to type if there's something that you want to express? You're more than welcome to type it up now, and so that I can read it out after Destiny, or you can speak it out loud if you're feeling up to it physically. So yeah, just know that this space is yours to utilize however you want as well. So beautiful. All right, Destiny, I'm giving you the floor space.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Well, I had a little bit of trouble initially when you read the card. I I don't I feel like that message was meant for the group, but I don't know how it fits in with what's coming up for me. But one one idea is that I got in a fight with my partner last night, and it was related to this ongoing thing, which is that I have a lot of trouble um, feeling safe to be sexual or to embody a sexual nature. And I know it comes from trauma. I My first sexual experience was through rape. I've been assaulted other times before, and I was very promiscuous in my early 20s, and it kind of came from a place of not loving myself and not thinking that I was worth more than being a sexual creature. And I was hurt so badly in a couple of relationships about 5 years ago now. I was dating someone who, for a few months, traveling, and it turned out that he had planned the whole time to rob me, and I'd been sleeping with him, and he had come into my life and gained the trust of a lot of people around me, all so that he can put me in a situation so that he could do that. And he denies it, but I know in my heart that it was a staged experience in Costa Rica. But that's its own story. But you know, that happened relatively recently, and then right after him, I was in a really abusive, psychologically, relationship. And when I think back, like, what happened to the part of me that is, comfortable being sexy and comfortable being seen as a sexual creature. I feel like it died then. And when I deep down, when I think about sex or when I think about myself as a sexual creature, it's like my brain just thinks pain, and it just thinks bad things are going to happen, and I just can't go there. And so I shut it down, and I can't move into that space. And fast forward, I've been in this loving relationship for a year and a half where I'm in a space where I am safe to be sexual and to feel sexy. And it's still such a struggle for me, and I don't know why. And I love my partner so much, and I love being close to him, and I want to experience that closeness. And he's very, very sexual, but I just feel so uncomfortable. It's like alarm bells ringing when I think about the idea of myself as sexy or being viewed as sexy. The male gaze in and of itself makes me feel uncomfortable and unsafe. And I don't know how to deal with it. And I really want to move past this for the sake of my partnership and also for my own well-being. And it's weird because it's not that I'm afraid of being feminine. Like, I can get my nails done or put on makeup or get excited about girly things, but when it comes to being viewed as a sexual creature, that's where the line is crossed. And even I went out this weekend and I see all these girls dressed super sexy and just totally comfortable in their sexuality, and it makes me uncomfortable. And I feel it's like there are two things going on in my mind. One is that, oh, well, it's like this story that I don't want to be just viewed as a sexual creature. I want to be viewed as a multifaceted being for my mind, for who I am, who I show up in the world, not just sex. And so it's almost like when I see other women like that, I think automatically, oh, they don't respect themselves, or oh, they don't show up in a way that honors that they're more than just a sexual being. And I know now that like a whole person can show up sexually and can show up in non-sexual ways. But it's when I'm in those spaces around people in hypersexualized context, that's like my automatic reaction is, oh, they just don't respect themselves or something. And then the other thing is, the other reaction is that to be sexual is to open yourself up for pain and for abuse. And it's like I can't shed that story, and it is creating a boundary with my partner that I can't feel, we can't connect in that way. So anyway, it's ongoing, and I haven't really known what to do about it. I'm in psychotherapy, but it's like we just never get that deep, and a part of me doesn't know how to heal that core wound that I'm still carrying with me. So, yeah.
I just want to take a moment to thank you for sharing with us and for opening up. Really, really feeling you and feeling your vulnerability and your strength and all aspects of the experience and the emotion behind it. So just want to, just thank you for sharing. I know that it's tender, but it's also, it sounds like there's that you're ready for a transformation with this. Like, even though you're not sure how it's going to happen, but like I heard in your voice and in your expression that you're ready for something to change. And that's the first step, is just knowing like, okay, am I open to this being different, And does that resonate with you? Is this something that you're ready to transform? Okay, beautiful. So we're really going to be focusing on our sacred sexuality in our group. And so what we're doing is right now we are creating we're going to be creating a foundation where that can be safely held. And so I'm kind of going through it by layers. And so we haven't really entered the sexual realm yet, but we are going to start by clearing our wombs and transmuting any energies in our wombs that belong to anyone that has taken advantage of us, anyone that's crossed our boundaries, anyone that has in any way impacted us in a way that has been harmful. And so we're going to, I'm definitely, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be sharing various tools with you. So there's going to be more to come with that. But ultimately what's coming through, are you open to me sharing? Okay. I just really want to make sure. Ultimately, what's coming through is a factor of your association, of how you associate sexuality, sex, and lack of safety. And so it's like the associations, the subconscious patterns that have been created, and the thought patterns, and just like your like the connection between sex and being unsafe and being disrespected and being violated and being in danger. And so that right now it's like it's very closely connected. And okay, so yeah. So right now it's very closely connected. So the process is uncoupling that the thoughts and the associations with the act, the expression. So it's literally, it's like kind of just, it's starting to see it as two different things of just like, this is my sexual life, this is how I express myself, this is my pleasure, this is my sensuality. And here is the emotional experience. This is the trauma. This is what I experience, and they can coexist, but they no longer need to be one single entity, because right now there's energetically they are very closely interconnected. And so so it's really about uncoupling the two and just being like, I can hold them both and I can be with both of them, but they no longer need to come as a package deal. Does that resonate? So I'm going to, so I want to support you in this. And at any point, theta healing would be extremely helpful, because a lot of it is going into the subconscious and working with how your subconscious and how your body has programmed the memory of what sex is, and how unsafe it is, and the fact that to be sexy and to be expressive and to be sexual is connected to not being safe. So there's an element where I'm a somatic psychotherapist as well, and I love psychotherapy, but it can't fully grasp all of this, and there's so many layers, which is why I would do the work that I do. And I'm so glad you're in therapy, and it's good for like ongoing healing and support. But when it comes to just really going into the depth, into the core, and creating quantum leaps, it's important to tackle it from all angles. So I just want to let you know that I'm here as a resource, and I'd love to support you through this. And we're going to be really focusing on it in the group as well. And there's a lot more to say, and I feel like this is going to be a conversation that I'd love for us to start exploring as a collective, because many women, myself included, and I'm sure that many of us can relate, experiencing this feeling of unsafety, this feeling of I desire more intimacy and more connection, and yet I don't feel safe, and I know I'm safe in my mind, but my body doesn't feel safe. And I don't know what to do with that. So you're definitely not alone. And so I just want to thank you for bringing that up. And this is going to be a big inquiry for us, because us stepping into our sovereignty, us stepping into our full power and our full feminine magnetism, is us really owning ourselves as sexual beings. And so it's so connected to our full power, our full expression, and you unlocking the energy that's there, that's been trapped there, is going to really support you on all levels in your life. And so it's not just sexually, but also with your leadership, with how you show up in the world, with who you are, and and your ability to magnetize everything that you want, because our sexual energy is it's creation. It's our ability to create. It's our ability to magnetize what we desire in our life. It's our desire, so that energy is super important to work with. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be working with. So I wanted to speak to that. And also read, Leilani said, where, I don't know if she said, yeah, thank you. This was Mandy. Okay, so thank you for sharing, Destiny. I totally relate. As Factor Dance has opened and transformed this one for me. Yeah, beautiful. So so this is, and also, movement embodiment. So we're going to be going into that as well. So I appreciate you sharing, and it's like a lot of things are coming up right now on everything that we're going to be utilizing in this space. And so I just want to let you know that that there's a lot to come with all of this. So so just like really feeling, I'm like, I want to just share everything right now, but unfortunately we're not able to. But what we're doing right now is we're creating space. So this coming month, we're going to be focusing on reprogramming our subconscious belief patterns and uncoupling those, like with our wealth consciousness, with relationships, with our sexuality, with various aspects of our lives, how we view, like, what are the belief patterns that we have, what are the responses that we hold in our system. And we're going to start clearing that. So this whole month is going to be like a clearing month, which is going to create a beautiful foundation for what do we actually want to create and what are we building. So we're going to be working a lot with, we're going to be starting to clear our wounds as well this month. So Leilani, are you there, and do you want to share something? Do you want to speak, or do you want to type something up? How are you feeling? Okay, so let me check on the time. 1 second. Okay, wow. Time flies by so fast. We only have 15 more minutes. I wanted to share a few important elements of this time. So right now we're in a really intense astrological time frame, because everything is going retrograde. I don't know if you noticed, but in the past few weeks we've had we're basically having 3 main planets going retrograde, and most of them are going retrograde in Capricorn. So we just had Saturn go retrograde in Capricorn. We had Pluto go retrograde in Capricorn a few weeks ago, or like a little over a week ago, and where we had Jupiter go retrograde. I don't remember what sign. I need to check that. And we're about to have Neptune go retrograde as well. Oh, wow. Okay, yes. And Tiffany is, okay, so Mandy is a Capricorn, Tiffany is a Capricorn. Wow, yeah. So for Capricorns, what it means is, what I feel is a radical change. It means evaluating your whole life and really seeing its, should we just take a vacation, right? Take a vacation from life. Yeah, just like, all right, and peace. Like, I'm just going to peace out for a moment until things settle down. It's actually, it's a good thing. So it's here to support you. Don't look at this as like, okay, I think this means like destruction, everything's going to be falling apart, and like, what does it mean? It's not here to scare you. It's here to support you. So actually, the energy of Capricorn, it's all about building foundations, and it has to do with this radical responsibility and showing up for our lives, and working hard. So essentially, it means fueling your energy into what you actually want to create. So with Pluto having to do with, Pluto is all about the shadow. It's all about the psyche. It's the taboo. It's the unspoken. It's elements in our lives and in our beings that we don't typically express to others. So it's the deeper stuff, including our sexuality, including our wombs. So Pluto really focuses on womb healing and sexual healing as well. So this is a really big time to do this type of work, to do the subconscious reprogramming work, to do the sexual healing work, because it actually gives us it's going to be at least for the next 5 months or so that we can go really deep into those spaces that we typically wouldn't have access to. So that's why this is here to actually support us, but it just also means that we're not going to be able to look away from those aspects of ourselves that we've been able to avoid in the past. So all those parts of ourselves that we like didn't like, we might have known that something was going on, but we didn't have the full capacity to face it. If you haven't been facing it, now it's all going to be coming up at once. And so it's not to say that like it's going to be overly intense, but it is to say that a lot is going to be coming up to the surface. So it's really important to be equipped with various tools and various support systems, and have your arsenal of aspects in place to know how to handle things when things come up. Because this is just a prime time for things to be resurfacing, or just to emerge in your reality, to just bring you deeper into yourself. I mean, the whole goal of this is for you to just feel more empowered and more resilient. So it's building our resiliency, even though sometimes that process can be a little bit tricky and rocky. And Jupiter went retrograde as well. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So right now we are expanding. We're preparing to step onto the next level of our being. That also means we are facing the fear of what it means, like the fear of our power. So if you're afraid of your power, if you're afraid of what you're capable of, if you know, and you all here have a very powerful reason for being here. You're all like very powerful women, and you're all in some level afraid of your power, just as I am. So it's like we don't really know what we're capable of. We like know that we're here to do big things, but there's this capping that we're putting on ourselves of just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to keep myself not too much. I'm going to allow myself to just operate in a way where it's like, okay, I get to be myself, but not fully, because I don't know how the world's going to handle it. And I don't know what that even means. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen when I fully unleash myself, right? And it's exciting, and it's kind of like, okay, what does that mean? How do I hold myself? How do I give myself permission? So again, working with the permission slip and working with Jupiter, the planet, like once Jupiter goes retrograde, it really gives us an overview of what do I want to experience more in my life? Like, what do I want to expand? What am I ready to step into? And so this whole element of expansion and facing our power is going to be coming up in this new moon in Taurus on the 4th and the 5th. So this weekend, we have a new moon in Taurus, which is going to be a beautiful energy to plant seeds and to really set new intentions. And it's going to be a really powerful time to look at all the ways that we self-sabotage, that we hold ourselves back from our greatness, that we limit our expansion, or we're afraid of our expansion. So it's the placement in this particular new moon. It's good for both diving into the new and putting our energy into the new, and also going deep within ourselves and looking at all the ways that we hold ourselves back from fully embracing who we are. Which is then really allows us to plant those seeds and take things to the next level. So right now what we're doing is we're opening up the hood, and we're like looking under the hood and seeing all the aspects in our lives, in our psyche, in our physical body, in our sexual field, in our relational field, in our physical environment, in our subconscious, in our like emotional. I mean, there's so many different layers, right? We're looking at all of those, and we're being very very conscious of what is serving us and what is really here to support us, and what is just an old programming that we are habitually repeating, or we're carrying it over from our ancestors. And so it's just like, it's just old. It's like we're here to honor it. We're here to thank it for serving us at one point. It did its job, and now it's time for it to go and for us to fully step into what we're here to do. And so the reason why all of these planets are going retrograde is that right now we're doing a clear sweep. We're rebooting all of our systems, and that could feel taxing for our bodies. So what I was talking about earlier with and I wanted to speak to you, Leilani, with it as well, with what you're experiencing with this, the Schumann resonance has been really like skyrocketing. Our so it's like the resonance of the planet is skyrocketing. We're experiencing a lot more light, we're experiencing a lot more energy, and our physical bodies are struggling with that. So it could come through as various like throat, like lung, coughing fits. I know that Tiffany's been experiencing a lot of that. Clearing through the throat, clearing through, like a lot of maybe like mucus, like post-nasal drip. It's like an aspect of that is connected to emotional clearing. So if you're experiencing a lot of through the throat, it's like the energy that hasn't been expressed, that's been sitting there, especially having to do with your emotions, it's getting pushed through. So right now, our bodies, so Leilani is saying, yes, this is resonating. So our bodies are going through a reboot right now as well. So you could feel a lot of fatigue. You can feel, I've been pretty out of it for days. It's been intense. Like the other night I had like hot and cold sweats, and I was like, I haven't been able to sleep, and I'm just like, it just feels like I'm purging so much. And it's like literally our physical bodies are just pushing things out of our system. So it's know that it's a part of the process, and this is a really important time to drink more water, to give yourself rest, allow yourself to go through this purging process, detox your body, take various herbs to support you, eat lighter or eat foods that are really going to nourish your health, but just really take it easy on your body, because we are what's happening on the planet on so many different levels is beyond where we've ever been as a species. So we don't really know exactly how to navigate with all of this. And it's like the more attention we can bring to ourselves and support our bodies, the easier the process will be, because it's really like our physical bodies are just almost like needing to navigate and learn how to operate in this frequency. Plus, they're also installing 5G all over United States. I don't know if this is a global thing or if it's just the United States, but it's the frequency is very toxic to our physical bodies. And so I'm going to post a documentary that they just made about this, and I'm not trying to like cause an alarm, but it's really gonna be super important for us to find ways to protect our bodies and to protect our nervous systems, because the technology that's being currently developed, that's already getting launched, our bodies it's going to like activate inflammation processes. If there's already inflammation in your body, it's going to activate that and fatigue, and it brings an extra energy for your body to work through that's not fully serving it. So this is all really important to look at. And so I definitely want us to be aware of like, okay, how are we, instead of just being worried about it, how do we raise awareness and just really kind of like tackle it from all angles and support our bodies, support our emotional systems, and realize that right now, the fact that we're in this group and that we're cultivating these awarenesses and working with these tools is super important, because everyone's experiencing this in their own ways. And I really want to bring in holistic healing and bring in ways that we can support our physical bodies, as well as all other aspects of our lives as we're going through this transformation, because this is a global thing. Like, we're all experiencing it. So yeah, it's really intense. So I'm just like, I just went super deep. Thank you for listening. I'm just going to read really quick what everyone's writing. So Leilani said that sore throat became postnasal drip, became cough. And Tiffany's writing, so much coughing, fatigue. I've been changing my diet to eating greens and probiotics. Exactly, probiotics is huge. Giving myself much more sleep, restorative sex. Yes. So we're gonna start a thread in what's going to support all elements of our physical bodies, emotional bodies. So I'm gonna start that as well, and I'm gonna just make a note of it. And then if anyone can, if you just at any point, if there's a new modality, if you're doing something that's helping, just add that on, and we'll just comment on that. So that will be like a resource that we can go to that will support us through this process. Okay, so night sweats last few nights, Destiny. Yeah, it's so interesting how that's happening. It's a lot of, it's literally like purging through our skin and purifying. So it makes so much sense. Mind blown. Destiny, I don't think that's happening where I live. Must be why it's not hitting as hard for those living in big cities. For the 5G, spending time in nature away from cell towers. Yeah, they're creating cell towers that are going to be floating above cities. So it's essentially everything is going to be, and there's going to be nanoparticles everywhere, and everything is going to be gridded, which is just, it's really intense. It's happening right now. And I don't know if you've been seeing posts, but it's like people are raising awareness to the point where what I'm going to get is I'm going to get like a little like one of those, like it's like a chest plate, except I want to find a way to like wear it so it's not dorky and awkward, but it's like it protects you from EMF waves. I'll find out more information about that and post that as well, because it's a really big focus point right now, because not only our bodies are sensitive to what the light is doing, what's happening with just like the resonance of the planet shifting, and then there's like the man-made effects of everything that's happening with the like the technology and all the latest things that they're working on that is also impacting. So we're kind of like we're being, and like with ascension and what we're clearing within our own being. So there's so much happening on so many levels that it's really important to know that like, okay, my body needs extra like cell salts, probiotics. There's so much adaptogens. I really want to create a list of things that we can add on so that we can go and just have that as a resource. So Leilani's writing, just wanted to share today. I shared out loud that I wanted to transform the world so women could walk confidently without fear, and that men could walk confidently in vulnerability, allowing for us to both be fully present and share our emotions without suppressing, and the tools to heal. So much of those that cause pain and violence has to do with suppressed emotions and the lack of tools to process and heal. With that big responsibility, I have to want to let go of playing small and letting fear of being seen or fear of making mistakes to hold me back. Time to play big and love big. Yes, celebrating you, Leilani. That's so big, hearing that. So it's time to show up. It's time to play big. Expansion. So yeah, look at this, of everything that you're transmuting right now in your physical body, look at it as all parts of anything that's no longer serving you, and all of those energies or emotions getting cleared from your system so you can fully expand into your purpose and into all that you're meant to be. So that's massive. Yeah. So yeah, the bigness in that statement. Yes. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to, I would love for all of you to share what's coming through for you. I feel like I've been talking for way too long, but I just wanted to share all that. So whoever feels called to speak, please unmute yourself.
And I just wanted to say that it was interesting as you were talking. Every profound thing you were saying, I was yawning, or like that's how my body reacts when it's like something hits home for me, especially around the things that are happening, like the 5G cell towers. I just had thought like how we need, as sensitive empaths and like healers in this world, it feels like we're all coming into this point of stepping into battle just to stay sane and grounded and centered in our own bodies, so we don't feel the effect and influence of mind control or all of that. And it got me feeling really I don't know, that this is like a very pivotal moment in human history with all the planets going to retrograde. And I'm not very aware of what's happening in the planetary sense, but I am aware of like what's happening with me physically, and just hearing that other people have the same physical symptoms makes me feel less alone and less crazy, and more permission to be taking the last couple of days to really nourish myself, because I have that I was conditioned with that mentality to keep going and to keep producing or performing or like working. And I've just given that up in the last couple of months to really focus on what it is, how I can like bring all of my energy into the thing that I want to do, rather than to the thing that looks like I'm like to the thing that I'm pretending to care about, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's very humbling and very reassuring, this whole session. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I just realized. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, it's like all systems go right now for us to also, I wanted to piggyback off that being aware of all elements that are affecting us and how do we really support ourselves, take radical responsibility for our well-being and for the health of our bodies and our emotional systems, and us being resilient and taken care of and properly nourished so we can do the work that we're here to do and so that we can show up in our bigness. And when we take radical responsibility for ourselves, when we are here to step up to the next level, when we feel this call to, okay, I'm ready to go big, I'm not going to be holding back anymore, I'm really ready to step into my power, then we have to be prepared to take more responsibility. That means taking responsibility on all levels as well. So us really stepping up to the plate is also us being ready to be like, not to be like, okay, let me hold everyone's burdens and let me become a martyr and self-sacrifice and burn out. But it does mean, okay, how do I build my resiliency and create sustainability within my being so I can fully show up in these big ways that I know I'm meant to be here. And so that's why today's session, we've been focusing on the body just as much as taking radical responsibility for our actions. I mean, there's so much more to speak to that. This is barely scratching the surface. And so that's why I really want us to I would love for you to share like in the coming days, and just know that you can share at any point in the group. What is alive for you? What are you experiencing emotionally? How is radical responsibility showing up? What are you learning? What is something that you want to bring to everyone else's attention? This is an ongoing conversation. So when we have these meetings, it's us to activate, to connect, but also to keep the dialogue going outside of the space as well. It's like we are constantly in the container, just to varying degrees. So I just wanted to mention that because there's so much more to add, and I'm like 1 hour is not nearly enough. But I'm just so grateful to be here with you all, and I'm going to mute myself and would love to hear from whoever wants to share.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to applaud Tiffany for taking space for your process and not feeling like you're a slave to productivity. That's something I'm working through right now. And this idea of like radical responsibility, my partner will say, well, you choose, these are choices that you make, these obligations or this prison that you construct where I have to do this and then I have to do that so that I can do that, and it's like a never ending list that just never stops. And I think that right now what I'm sensing astrologically is it's really a time for us to create space and to reflect, um, and to become clear about what it is that we want and what's not serving us. And that can be really hard in our society to take that space. And so I think it's great that you're doing it, and it's something that I'm trying to do. I think what I struggle with is really having this vision of how I want to be in the world and how I want to relate to others, and that I want to be a leader and I want to make a difference. And then the universe will say like, okay. And then like I suddenly have way too much stuff on my plate, and so I'm trying to find that balance with slow, steady, sustained effort, but with self-care as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Destiny. I love what you brought in, and really showing up, but also giving yourself spaciousness, allowing everything to land, creating that sustainability, knowing that you don't have to keep doing, that you can be in your optimal space of also being receptive, of also like allowing yourself to receive and rest, and then serve, and allowing it to be a flow, instead of feeling like I have to constantly be on. And in order to be a leader, like this is what it needs to look like. But now it's just like, what does leadership look like for you that would most support your well-being? And I really just, yeah, and I also really want to comment on Tiffany, like, thank you so much for sharing love, and I'm so proud of you for taking time and space for yourself and to heal and to just really focus on you. I think that's just so important. And like you are navigating your purpose, your impact in the world, but you're doing it in a way that is here to sustain you. It's not here to follow anyone else's rules, and it's not here to like to create something that's not naturally occurring in this moment right now. Like you're in tune with your body, that your body needs to rest, that you're here to give yourself what you need so that you can show up in the way that's going to be most resonant for you. And giving yourself permission for that is that's the greatest self-empowerment tool and experience to do. And then it's just like, from that space you get to be in your power and in your light, and yeah, you make such an impact in the world around you, just simply by being who you are. And so I'm just really looking forward to you being in full health and vitality, and just, yeah, continuing to kick ass. Yeah, so much love. I would love to. Oh yeah, and Tiffany also writes, invitation to share. What are you experiencing emotionally? How is radical responsibility showing up? What is alive in you that wants to be brought to your attention, and share and keep the dialogue going. Okay, awesome. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, awesome. I didn't realize I said that too. I was like, cool. I'm so glad that thank you so much for typing that up. So this is an ongoing dialogue, because I really want us to provide sustainable like sisterhood support, and this is our space to come to. So just know that anytime when something's rising, just really want to give that as a permission slip and encourage you to do so, because we're stronger in numbers, and we're also interconnected. And I'm also preparing to bring in more women into the space. So we had two members who was just really interesting, that as things really ramped up, two women actually, like, they're not in alignment anymore to be in the group. And so it happened in a very interesting way. And I've been also feeling like it hasn't been time to bring in more members. I feel like in May it's going to feel like it's time. I've been like wanting to really for us to create a solid container, and it feels like it's about that time. So I feel like I really want to. If there's someone that's going to benefit from this space, we're going to start opening up the space for other women to join us. And so encouraged to share on Facebook group via Facebook Live. I'd love to feel your more and give myself permission to be witnessed. So Tiffany wants us to do more Facebook Lives. So this is definitely a beautiful invitation. Thank you of just being in the moment, raw, and expressing what is alive for you, and just knowing that this is a safe sisterhood. And the more that you can be witnessed in all that you are in those moments, especially the moments of vulnerability, especially when the last thing you want to do is be seen. Those are the biggest moments, and those are the biggest moments in creating the intimacy and the connection, and also showing you that you're not alone, and really giving you the support that you need at the time that you need it most. That invitation's most definitely there. I would love to hear from you, Mandy. What is coming up for you? What would you like to end the call with? How are you feeling?
It's a lot, and I'm like aligned with everything that was talked about tonight, except I was unaware about the 5G network. I was unaware about that. And I don't like when the government does stuff that impacts our health. It pisses me off. I'm very healthy, very healthy. I don't get sick. Since I got sober and worked the steps in AA, like I don't get sick. I used to get every 2 weeks. But I do have a like lower energy and I have lower back pain. So I've been taking adrenal support for the energy and just following my body. I am a recovering workaholic. I have a whole history of complete workaholism that almost killed me. So if anyone has any questions about what that looks like, I'm a resource. So I've been much more soft and gentle with the self-compassion, forgiveness stuff in the last few years. Slow and steady, like a turtle wins the race in my belief system. I love yin energy. I love it. Like I could just like be in yin all day. Soft. I do have to go because a client's coming over soon. And lastly, I wanted to say, what did I want to say? There was something. Oh, okay. So one of my stories is that I'm like afraid to come out into my purpose because the attention freaks me out. And then the other part is I don't want to effort because I'm just like, I'm still kind of, the impact that the workaholism had on me. I'm still recovering. Like I'm still tired from working so hard for so many years that I'm just like, I can't even rev it up. Like you can't launch anything. Like I just don't want to even go there with my effort. And Destiny's share tonight really inspired me because that is my purpose. I'm here to help women heal their sexuality and their sexual trauma, their rapes, their violation, the narcissistic abuse, the whole thing. That's my purpose. So it kind of it drew in my attention because I'm naturally inspired to give in that way. That doesn't feel like efforting to me. That feels like, let's fucking get our power back, heal the wound and then like undo the cross wiring and then put it back in. And then now she's good to go, So I'm really inspired to work in that way. But when I think about launching something or promoting some program, I get super turned off. And that's where I'm at. So thank you, ladies. Thank you. And I want to say I am still new to expressing myself. So it feels super awkward to talk on video in front of others, but here we are. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You're doing it beautifully. And so appreciate everything you shared and your mastery. And whenever you feel inspired to show, like, as you said, to like show up, bring your magic and and really share your mastery, you're more than welcome to at any time. So, and also I want to share that for everyone, that whenever anyone shares, just know that if you feel like, okay, I want to express something, your wisdom, your mastery, your leadership is always welcomed and it's completely encouraged. And it's never here to be like pushed upon. But also if you feel that inkling, please bring it through because you are all here. You're so so fucking powerful. And I'm just so grateful to be in this space with you all. And I want to hear it. And I know that the sisters are so going to benefit from your wisdom. So Mandy, I'm just like, I'm really excited to hear more about those moments of inspiration that you have, because I know that you are a well of information and power and healing. And so, but I really wanted to come from that inspired place. So just know that this is an invitation whenever that inspiration hits, that it's always welcomed and celebrated.
Thank you.
Thank you, love. And Leilani, do you have any last words that you want to share before we go off? I just really want to thank you for your presence. I know you're not feeling well, but having you here has made a massive difference. And I'm just so grateful for everyone that has been here. And this is recording, so I'm going to find the best way to share it. And our next session is going to be again the following Tuesday. And so then we're going to go every 2 weeks. I'll definitely post more about that. So Leilani is writing, thank you, so grateful for all of you powerful women. Yes, thank you. I'm just like feeling so many good feels of being here with you all and just really, really grateful for this process. And this is just the beginning. So just know that there's lots of goodness to come, and radical responsibility is what's going to be paving the way. So next week is going to be 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I'm wondering what works better for everyone. Yeah, it's 7 or 8 better, because I know that I think that Destiny gets out, like last time you were like getting off work at that time, so I want to make sure that it's it's a good time. So we'll just leave that open. So we'll decide on the best time. Yeah, so we'll discuss it. Most likely it's going to be 7:30 or 8. Okay, so we'll do 7:30 or 8. I think that's a good time to go off of. So I'll post about it. So I'm sending you ladies so much love. I know we went over, but it was just amazing to share space with you, and yeah, good work. I will talk to you soon. Please post and just know that the space is yours anytime you need it. So much love.
Thank you.
Bye.